What the Zeke? God damn it!
I'm gone.
It's doing that thing that we
I'm
discovered last week while you were gone, Zeke. That no one knows except me. So 1 second, you guys are gonna lose stuff, and then it'll come right back.
Oh.
And you're good. And we're good. Hi. Hello, everyone. Welcome to Drop Frames. What episode are we on? We did too many shows last week. Can I just say there was too much Drop Frames occurring? Anyways, what episode are we on, Co?
4771.
4771. Zeke, how was E3?
I'd love to tell you that, but I can't hear you when you talk because there's music.
Really? Okay, I'm glad I haven't fixed that yet. Go ahead.
Okay.
Take that drink and then tell me how was E3?
What was the question?
What was LA like? How was E3, man?
Oh, it's great, man. I fucking love it. It's whenever like the past few times that I've gone to E3, it's been like we do like some things. We used to do some things on the show floor. Like we'd have like 2 days in the studio and then like a few days in the actual convention center doing the like live. We had a stage and a booth and all that kind of stuff.
Yeah.
And this time it was just all 5 days in a studio soundstage.
Oh.
That was like, I don't know, across the street from the convention center.
Oh, they didn't put you in Burbank. Nice. Okay. I thought they were going to use like the ESL studios or something an hour away.
No, they did that. 2 years ago, and it was terrible. And everybody was like, "Oh my god, this is so much better!" And it was so much better. It was like it felt like it was weird. It felt like having like an actual job again because for 5 days I got up at 7:30 a.m. Took a shower, brushed my teeth. Oh, what?
No, that's just a bad time, man. I'm not.
Oh.
That's too early.
But I got up at 7:30 a.m. and took a shower, brushed my teeth, went down, got a coffee, grabbed an Uber, was to the studio at the 9 o'clock call time, and then did like 8-9 hours worth of work. Like it was like 9 to 6, basically, is what we worked every day, and it was fucking great. I didn't go into the convention center, which I'm super okay with. No.
Huh.
No. And I actually, people were asking me like, "Oh God, did you make time to go?" It was like, I'm good on conventions, like almost forever. And I grabbed
this one
like
actually had stuff to see, man. Like you actually could see some cool stuff.
I went to my room and I grabbed my like badge collection and I just showed. There's like 70 badges from different conventions and stuff. And I was just like, I'm good on conventions. I can wait to see shit. I don't need to be teased with stuff. Like,
yeah.
I mean, the Cyberpunk one, I kind of do wish I would have seen, but
you got
it's a very, very small regret.
Yeah, you got that, like, you got that female statue that they were giving away to people. Aaron had an appointment for that.
I saw that.
And didn't go to it. And we had a long conversation about that.
Yeah.
So, but
no, if I would have got it, I would have just sold it immediately on eBay.
I think they're going for like 9. How much are they? They were like 600 the week of. I don't know how much they're going for.
600.
Yeah.
Yeah. No, I wouldn't have taken one, honestly, because I have already too much clutter. And I don't admire keepsakes. Like a lot of people have like shelves and shelves of different, memorabilia and shit. And all the memorabilia that I'm like, oh man, this is cool. They've been in boxes for a year, 2 years and shit like that. I've come to discover that I don't really care about keepsakes. What I care about is the memories and the experiences and that kind of stuff. Oh, but it was really cool for this convention to be just like 5 days of nothing but business and games and that kind of stuff. And it was just chock full. Like after the conference days were done, it was 3 full days of 9 to 10 hours of just 15-minute segments.
Right. I watched a lot of your segments. I licked your face in some of those segments too. It was a lot of fun. Using green screen technology to fuck with you.
I felt that.
I know you did, because every time I would get close, you would go. You would just turn your head real quick.
Just subconsciously be like, "Oh, there's something weird in here?"
Yeah. Yeah.
Don't leave a door open. Is that a dress?
Some weird presence.
Yeah, I watched. I've got to start getting Sekiro is the next like Dark Souls game, even though it's not really a Dark Souls game. But I watched your interview with that. That was good.
Excuse me.
Oh, I know you nailed the pronunciation in all your segments.
Sekiro.
Even when he introduced, I forgot what the person's job was or like role was at the studio. But even when he introduced him, you like nailed it, and the guy was like, "Damn, you nailed that pronunciation. Good job, good job." Yeah.
Well, that's honestly like one of the things that like at the hosting workshop that we put on at Twitch. One of the minor like things, but but important things.
Mm-hmm.
No matter what, even if you think you know how to pronounce a person's name, ask first.
Yep.
Because you'll get like a Kim Basinger or Kim Bassinger like situation where they go, "Thank you for asking." Like almost everybody thanks you for asking.
Yeah, that's good stuff.
So yeah, if I pronounce things right, it's because I ask first.
What was your favorite like segment you did? Because you talked about a billion games. You did a lot of stuff with the Yakuza people, which was kind of fun to see because you were like the mega fan asking the questions. And they were like, "Can you just stop? These are for the normal people out there that aren't like diehard fans."
Yeah. No, it's always nice to actually be knowledgeable about a game because it's almost impossible to know everything about every game. And if you're thrown in a situation where you have to do, 15 segments in a day, you're probably going to know 8 games, maybe 9 games that like deeply, and especially like at a place like E3 because they introduce new things.
Mm-hmm.
So there's going to be a lot of shit like no one's ever seen before. So it's tough to prepare for those. But yeah, when the Yakuza guy came, it's funny because we actually were in correspondence. Sega John is what I call him. And he's like, "Dude, I'm coming up to talk about Persona and Yakuza. Are you going to be there?" I'm like, "Fuck yeah, man. I'm on those fucking interviews, bro."
Nice.
And speaking of that,
Uh-oh.
I just want to say that
Oh.
I'm the mad dog of Twitch.
Okay. Did they bring
You
that
better
for
believe
you? Because you had to go to the convention to get that.
Yep. He said Mike John was in the convention center. He goes, "Dude, we should meet up for a beer." And I was like, "All right, come out to the Devolver lot. I'll be there after work today, and bring me an eye patch." And there it was. Brought me an eye patch. Great guy.
Nice.
See, now that's a keepsake that I like because it's a costume piece.
Sure. Yeah, it's usable. It doesn't just sit on the shelf. It makes sense. I get it.
Yeah.
I get it.
But yeah, dude, I mean, I'm looking over my segments, and there's just I did an hour like when I came back of just shit that I saw, and it wasn't even enough. I like skimmed over like almost everything.
Yeah.
I never added up anything like or added up how many segments I actually had, but there was a fucking lot. But I'll tell you, like, there's a couple games that I wasn't expecting to like that was really looking forward to, like Days Gone. It's that biker zombie game.
Yeah, I skipped that segment because I'm not into it. Did they actually do a good job?
It looks fucking good, man. It looks
Okay.
really cool. The hordes of zombie AI. It looks really cool, and the story seems fine. Or story seems like pretty in depth. And I always kind of like adhere to stories of like brotherhood and stuff. And that's the two main characters, or one main character has like a friend who's like a brother from the MC or whatever. And I always like I like those stories. But I mean, it looks cool, and the fucking zombie AI is pretty neat. Speaking of zombie AI, the other game that I was not like super jacked for, but I'm really excited to see what they come up with is World War Z. Excuse me, World War Z.
Oh, okay. Wait, they're making a game
World War
for that?
Z. Yeah, based on the movie, but and that in and of itself is always like, ugh,
Yeah. Yeah. Is it made by Warner Brothers or
games
something?
based on movie. Bad news. But this one actually looks pretty decent. Like with them climbing all over each other. It's another zombie game, but remember the movie where they're like they climb all over each other to get over walls and shit. It looks really cool in the game. How they made it work and constructed it and stuff. Because you can like shoot out like the middle of the like the pile of zombies, and then you see like the top like crumble back on itself. It's pretty cool.
Do you get to play Brad Pitt?
Don't think so.
They didn't get his likeness. It was too.
I'd imagine no.
I watched that movie
Let's see.
recently, so I have fresh memories of it. That might be kind of fun.
World War Z is by Phosphor Games,
Never heard
which
of
I'm
them.
not familiar with.
Yeah, I've never heard of them at all.
And you know what's delicious though?
Brad Pitt?
No, Burger King pretzel chicken fries.
What?
They're delicious. Hashtag it's crunch time. Hashtag ad.
Okay. All right. Oh, okay. Because you and O'Catering had to do a lot of the.
Yeah, we had to do the Burger
get
King
it.
was a sponsor for the stream, and we had to do like little sketches and stuff with the King. And if you want to know like a little behind the scenes, like I haven't told anybody about this yet, but so the King and his crew were like staying there all day, and obviously the King is like an actor in a suit.
Oh,
And
okay.
I was a little nervous because I was like, I don't know how these guys are gonna be, like whatever. And I was talking to him backstage. He had like the kingly outfit on, but his head was off. So he was just like this dude just sitting in like this king like costume and shit.
Looks like
And I
someone
was
had
like,
turned
hey,
on
I'm
little head mode in a game.
Exactly. No, it totally was because there's this big collar where the head sits in.
Yeah.
So he had this huge collar. It looked like he got his head shrunk. But I was talking to him backstage, and I was like, "Hey, man, I'm Zeke. Nice to meet you." He's like, "Oh, cool. We'll be doing this stuff." And then we like worked out like what kind of sketch or whatever the fuck little thing that we were gonna do.
Right.
And they were like, they were our ideas. Like we worked together on like, oh, we're thinking about having you sneak up on the King and like, switch positions, stuff like that. It's like, okay. But I said, so dude, you like being in this costume and stuff? You ever done like, are you an actor? Do this kind of shit? He's like, oh yeah, man, I've been the King. I've been Clifford the Big Red Dog. Like I've been like this and that. And I was like, oh shit, dude. So this is like a niche for you. And I was like, that's funny that you say that because my first job, I was Chuck E. Cheese. And he goes, me too, dude. That's fucking awesome. And he's just like this California dude. He had long hair. He was about like, I want to say like 32, 33.
Nice.
And he's just this guy, like, that's an actor. This is a paid gig for him. It was really cool. And he was a fun guy to hang around with.
I wonder how many kings there are in terms of across the country. How many people dress up? Like how many suits there are is maybe the better question. They probably got multiple versions. I would think.
I would imagine.
Yeah.
This version had the
just
deal with
one,
the glass.
and they have a plane for it and a plexiglass like lit
Case.
security canister.
Yeah.
And it goes in there, and it's one of those things where you put it in, close the door, and it goes. Tss.
Yep. I want one of those. Hey, can you buy those? Can we? We need to buy some of those for us.
What would you keep in there, JP? You just want one, so you can just walk. You can wake up in the morning and walk in your office and just open it and then close it and hear the. Tss, and
I'd
be
want
like,
my doors in my office to be like that. That's what I would
Yeah.
want. Yeah.
there we go.
Yeah. I was gonna say cats, but that doesn't make any sense because then they probably wouldn't live. So no. Yeah.
Probably wouldn't live.
Yeah. So I'd get my doors like that. I want my doors to be the whatever you call that noise. Sci-fi doors. Let's go with that. Zeke, did you see anything else that was worth mentioning?
Nothing. I mean, nothing super exciting. No, because I didn't go in the convention. I'm sorry.
Right,
I didn't
right,
go in the
right.
convention, guys. But I mean, from like the Cyberpunk 2077,
Yeah.
right? It's a rare thing when you can get 99% of anybody to agree on something, let alone gamers. And people fucking loved the demo they showed, and they were
Yeah.
like, "This is going to be the best game in the last 5 years at least."
Yeah. Aaron said that every person that she talked to that was at E3, like when saw the demo, was just talking about it nonstop. She said she was actually tired of hearing about it because she heard 5 or 6 full conversations about the fucking demo that they saw. So,
Oh, and that was the other thing. Like people say, like you're talking about first person.
yeah.
Like there's people who are like, why is it first person? And everybody that came out said, you'll understand.
Right.
It needs to be first person. You'll get it once you're playing the game.
Yeah.
So I'm excited. I can't wait, man.
Yeah. I think I'm just tired of talk. E3 is, It was a lot last week. We talked the fuck out of E3 here on the show, but I'm sure you lived the fuck out of E3. So I think we're good,
baby.
Yeah, I think we're good. E3 starts in 352 days or something. So we'll see you next year.
So, the Twitch party was on Tuesday night. So if you go back and check out my VODs on Wednesday, you will see a phony, fake, happy, energetic person.
Nice.
That was dying inside like the entire time because I'm just like, my head hurts and my stomach fucking sucks. I want to go home and go to bed. All right, next up, hey, welcome back to E3. I'm Zeke.
Man, that brings me back to memories of my MLG days where we'd be out till like, I remember one night we were out till 6 a.m. in New York, and I got Sean, Day 9, and a guy by the name of Mr. Bitter, like blackout drunk. So much so that Sean just stayed in the bar and we left him at like 3 o'clock. He was just sitting at some people's table that we had never met. He had never met. He was just drunk. And I don't know if he was cognizant. We just left. And we showed up the next morning at like a 7 a.m. call time. And they both like were actually visibly upset with me and like were very angry that they were that drunk and had to be on at like 7 a.m. the next morning. And I didn't get hangovers at the time, so I was just like, this is great. Like my friends are fucking real bad right now. And they just phoned it in the rest of the day. So I do not miss those days at all. They were fun at night, but man, the next day fucking sucked. It's brutal. Yeah. It's real dumb.
And you get like by the end of the day on Wednesday, you can see my mask start to slip, like it's like falling off. Like my face, just like instead of this, just like a melting ice cream cone.
Yeah.
By the end of the fucking day,
I see. After about like I don't know 3 months of doing that, if I was out late and I woke up the next morning and had like 3 hours sleep, it showed the second I was on camera, and like people started getting upset with me because it was not a good time. I was always just like, hey guys, welcome back to MLG. We're here at day 2. We're going to watch some people play some StarCraft. Sean, how are you doing? That Sean would be the complete foil to that with amounts of energy that no man should have that time of the day. Yeah. It was fun.
Speaking of that fucking drop frame shout out.
Yeah, that was good. So did you hear that live or did you hear that after the fact from the PC Gaming Conference, Zeke?
That's like the conference times was like the time we got to eat and like do lunch and stuff. So I was in and out, so I missed that particular shout out. I would have definitely like tweeted out about it if I had seen it live.
Yeah, it was cool. It was nice of Sean. The amount of people that tweeted me and Sean were like, so did he tell you to do that, man? Did you purposely help your friend out with getting that shot? It's like, dude, like I'm no one. What are you talking about?
Of course. I mean, dude, I took every opportunity I could to shout people out, like during like segments, especially with games that they like. Like I was talking about Hunt Showdown, I believe, and I think I shouted out Sacriel. There's a new game coming out based on the Call of Cthulhu like RPG tabletop game, and I shouted out the Call of Cthulhu streamer, like my friend and stuff like that. I'll find any opportunity to shout people out.
Yeah, of course. It makes sense. I don't know why people are always like that, but whatever. It's people. It's the internet. It happens. Well, cool. That's it on E3. We're done. We're putting a bookend on E3 2018. It's over. Thank God. Now those games just need to come out. So I think what's the first, like, I guess Spider-Man kicks us off with like the first big release this fall in September.
Spider-Man?
Is that it? There might be something else before that. People are saying, oh, there's Octopath Traveler. That comes out later this month or like July or something like that. Was that your phone?
My phone's not on silent. I'm sorry.
God, man. You got to silence your phone.
My bad.
Yeah. I'll stop playing my music if you silence your phone. Okay? All right?
You got me.
Yeah, I guess Octopath comes out in... Octopath Traveler. Is it Octopath? I keep getting Octopimp. That's the guy's name. Okay, Jesus. Anyways, that comes out in July. Well, I don't know. We might check that stuff out.
JP, for you, Crew 2 comes out on the 29th.
Yeah. I'm doing Well, actually, I don't. I'm doing a sponsored stream, but it's not for release of that game. I hope that game. We'll talk about it when it's actually launched. I hope that there's more because, like, what I played in the demo or the closed beta of that was very limited. I hope that there's a lot of that game to play when it actually comes out. We'll see. We'll see. Yeah, that's next week, so we'll be talking about that a little bit. Let's talk about a game that did come out recently. I guess Jurassic Park, because I had one day with it and had a miserable time. So that
You'll have
game's
a
rough.
miserable time.
I'll talk about my experiences and why they were miserable. But I know, Co, you've actually been enjoying it. So how is Jurassic? I keep calling it Jurassic Park, but it's Jurassic World Evolution. Okay.
There it is. Yeah, it took me many times to get that down. Jurassic World Evolution. Today was my last day with it. I'm all done with it now, and it was a good time. Jurassic World Evolution. I was going in expecting like a real kind of building focused game that was really deep and had lots of stuff to do in that regard. Didn't quite get what I was expecting. Jurassic World Evolution is as a game is much more of like a challenge kind of thing where you specifically work through 5 islands, each with 3 different factions worth of unlocks, and some of those faction unlocks take more than an hour to get. And then they have like a main mission on each map that unlocks even more stuff. And that's really the meat of the game, because even the sandbox mode, which you can unlock on the first island, all the unlocks you get in challenge mode, that's what you use in sandbox mode. So it's pretty much expecting you to do that kind of stuff.
I see.
The challenge mode I found fun most of the time. There were some pretty big issues in terms of balance, and just some of the stuff they ask you to do, especially later, is just kind of dumb and not very intuitive. But most of the missions were good. And in terms of the game itself, it was a bit more simplistic than I was hoping for. And some of the ways the mechanic works, I wasn't a super fan of. But overall, I kind of put Jurassic World Evolution in the same vein as I do the Jurassic World movie, where, if you look under the hood, there's some kind of major issues. It's not very deep, but at the end of the day, it's just kind of fun. And that's what kept me playing it for 28 hours. That's how long I played it. So I didn't even do the sandbox island, which you could easily throw another 5 to 10 hours at if you wanted to. But yeah, I got pretty much every unlock in 27. I could play another hour or 2 and get every unlock. But it was fun. It was very fun. And there's nothing like, spending 10 hours getting a T-Rex unlocked and then seeing it come out the first time and do a big roar and everything. That's really fun, and no other game is gonna recreate that. So that part was pretty good.
Does it have a little flag fall behind them when it comes out? Is there a little like Jurassic Park thing that falls down behind them like it does in the movies, or no? Not at all.
I don't think so.
Okay.
Most of the time a door opens and they walk out and they do like a roar or an action thing, and then it just kind of goes on. So
does the T-Rex?
And yes, for those asking in chat, I had not seen the movie Jurassic World before the game. So I actually played about 25 hours of the game and then went and watched Jurassic World on Netflix or something. And because I wanted to check it out. So really what I wanted to do is, when I got my first Indominus Rex, chat exploded. Like, what are you doing? Have you not seen the movie? Why are you doing this? And I was like, what are you guys talking about? So I saw the movie, and now I get it.
Yeah.
now I know exactly what everyone meant in chat. And yeah, he's kind of a dick in the game too. So yeah,
makes sense.
That was pretty.
Not to backtrack, but is it just like running a zoo? Like, it's a zoo manager game?
It is a park building game. So the way that it works is there's 5 islands, and each island has like a gimmick. Like, one of them is, it's night all the time and super stormy, which are issues. One of them is having major money issues, so you have to get over that. And what you do is you build a profitable park. So you put down dinosaurs and enclosures, and that gets rating, and ratings bring in people, and then you need to put the people in hotels, and you need to build shops for them, and you got to keep building monorails, and it's basically just running a park. Except, again, I have to point out it's very basic in that regard. There's everything just kind of works really easily. Like, you can only build hotels. There's a bunch of different shop types, but the way they work is really basic. There's it's just really basic in a lot of ways. But at the same point, or at the same time, it is it's a full park simulator. Yeah.
Okay. Well, I'm glad you told me that. I'm glad I'm seeing it so I can like it's a hard pass for me. Not only because it's a like a tycoon kind of a game, but I mean, I think you're fucking wasting this great dinosaur like animation and shit by not having them like chase you or something like that. Like I would love like I don't know, a suspenseful like Alien Isolation Jurassic Park game where you're like, you know, the park is fucking run down and you're like the last survivor and you're trying to fucking get off the island or some shit. That I would buy. But this is just like, oh yeah, you got another Diplodocus. Oh man, good for you. Now you want to look at it? You want to feed it? Okay, you can feed it. Like, no,
Now,
I want it to chase me.
to be fair, there's two things to mention. First of all, the larger carnivores love breaking out of their cages and eating your guests. And that's kind of fun having to deal with that. You have to tranquilize them and lift them out of there. And they will just, velociraptors will tackle people and bite their faces off and do all that kind of fun stuff. Also, you can drive around the park whenever you want. Granted, dinosaurs aren't going to chase you, and it's nothing like that. But you can drive around the park, which is pretty cool. You can also drive around in those little glass sphere things if you want to and look at all that kind of stuff. But there is no action component to it. And then finally, dinosaurs fight. And in terms of like the animations and stuff, like today I put a carnivore in with a triceratops kind of thing. And they had like this whole animation where the triceratops won and ended up like diving into this carnivore's stomach, putting all of his horns into it, and then like ripping its head back and lifting this thing off the ground and like shaking it around in the air.
Jesus.
And then just dropping it. And meanwhile, me and my cat are watching it like it was pretty cool. So I'm assuming that they all have like little, fatality animations and stuff like that. Dinosaurs will kill each other and eat each other. So that part's kind of cool. But on that line, no, Zeke, there's no like action game to it. It is a park building game. So if you're not into that, this isn't for you.
I mean, I'd love to see the like dinosaurs fight each other or like dinosaurs eat your tourists. Like,
yeah,
I'd love to set it up like like I opened Jurassic Park and invited tourists just to feed the dinosaurs. Like that's the whole point of the place. It's like I got to keep them alive, and people will come anyway. So.
You're running like a murder house, but it's a murder park with dinosaurs. Okay,
exactly.
All
exactly.
Right, gotcha.
What's hilarious is there's a couple bugs and weird where you will end up with people in your enclosures. Like if you drive a car down a busy road, the people automatically move to the left and right so you don't run them over. And if they do that close enough to a gate, they will phase into the enclosures.
Oh God!
And also, if there's like a dinosaur attack, like a wall gets broken down, and a carnivore chases humans towards it, they'll go into the enclosure, and then your guy will repair the wall so that they are stuck in the enclosure. And it's hilarious because that's people food. That's how that works. Like that's it. Like cool. Okay, I got some people food in my Velociraptor pen. Hope you guys had a good life. Because that's it. So yeah, it can be kind of fun sometimes.
Yeah, I think I would have enjoyed my issues with the game. I thought I don't know the vernacular of the game, but the missions, the challenges, I guess is maybe what they're called or something like that.
Missions. Yeah, they're actual missions.
Okay, yeah. When you start off the game, they kind of like come at you like they're nonstop. And I thought it was more of a tutorial thing. So I just kept, following along. Then I had zero money. And then the two dinosaurs that I spawned because the missions got eaten by the other dinosaur that I spawned because the mission told me to do so. And I was just like, oh, fuck. And I had to restart and I was super exhausted. I was like, well, that's Jurassic World Evolution. Thanks for tuning in. I just ended the stream. So I think if I went back, I would probably enjoy it a little bit more. But I saw what the game was and had to offer, I think, in that 2 or 3 hour period. I didn't think it was going to change much from that. But they do kind of just throw you off into the deep end very quickly in that game with a tutorial not really of tutorialness.
And here's another big thing. First of all, for those asking what I was doing in this, the reason that looks so weird with that cage and everything, I was doing a specific challenge mission. And what I said earlier about some missions just being dumb, that's what I'm talking about. Because you have to do these ridiculous builds. Like, I don't know if this is, it's a little bit small on my screen. This might be the one. Yeah. So what I had to actually do in this mission was I had to piss off the dinosaurs to the point where they were breaking down walls. That was the
weird.
mission. So the point, what I was doing here was I was trying to put enough walls so they could break them down and still not escape. And then the second you get both the dinosaurs so pissed off that they're raging, the mission flips. And it says, okay, now that your dinosaurs are super angry, make them comfy again.
That's kind of weird.
So yeah, those types of missions are kind of like, it's completely unintuitive. You know, there's no reason, the mechanics in the game don't really support it. So you have to do all sorts of weird stuff.
That's kind of weird.
Go ahead.
That works on babies. I don't know if you knew that. Like, you get them really like pissed off and stuff, and then you comfort them, and then it's like you raised a good child.
Nice. I like whatever you dropped over. That was good.
Tips.
Yeah, I totally just dropped something to fucking punctuate it.
It was like good job. It was almost a drum roll.
But
I wanted to say, like, I really liked how because I don't play a lot of these games. I'm not sure how they've evolved since like Sim City on the Super NES. But
they've made a few
I
games
love how
since
the tree paintbrush that you're using, how it like pops up like procedure, like I don't know if it's procedurally generated. I don't know if that's the proper term, but like random like heights and shadows of trees and stuff. It looks cool when you like just paint over. That's fucking neat. Like, is there a lot of stuff like that?
Unfortunately, there's not quite as much as you would think. There is full terrain deformation, which is cool. So you can actually make like bowls and mountains and little hills and stuff. There's a tree brush, which does pretty much exactly like you said. Like, it puts just random foliage down. And then depending on how much open space there is, you'll get bigger and bigger trees. It's more kind of like a random variable kind of thing, though. So it just kind of randomly turns out things, and the more you paint it, the bigger the trees get, which is kind of fun. And then there's also like this grassland tool, but to be honest, I think it's completely useless. It doesn't seem to do much. The dinosaurs don't react to the grassland thing. But the reason that you need forests is because every dino has two comfort variables, grassland and forest. And you need to make sure that the pen is proper for all the dinosaurs that are kept in it, or they will start getting uncomfortable, and that's how they break out and kill guests. So, and that actually, just to mention it real quick, that goes into the kind of one of the biggest, in my opinion, kind of design issues with the game. And that is when you build a pen, and it's a fully enclosed pen, where the dinosaur is in the pen influences those variables. So if you have like a big rectangle and you fill the right side with forest, when he's hanging out in the forest, he's cool. But if he walks to the other side of his pen, he'll get pissed he doesn't have forest. And if he doesn't randomly walk back before there's enough time, he'll get so pissed he'll start breaking down walls.
That sucks.
And when you're talking about like an Indominus, where it's the kind of thing where like every dinosaur has a threshold, like how long it can go before it starts busting shit down. And the more attractive the dinosaur, like a T-Rex and Indominus, the shorter that comfort variable is. So in my fourth mission, they give you this like banana-shaped enclosure. And it's a really small island. And what would happen is you could click on the Indominus and watch him walk across the enclosure. And he would just randomly every so often be like, no, I don't like this anymore, and start getting mad. And then he'd take another few steps and be like, okay, I'm kind of cool with this. And then a few more steps, and he's like, no, now I'm mad again. And it's just like, ah. And the problem is you can't tell them where to go. So with that little tiny anger threshold, he would just randomly start breaking down walls and shit. And it was really frustrating. I have no idea why they did that. I think the intention is that maybe they want you to build pens so big that different areas can cater to different dinosaurs. But that would only work if the dinosaurs went to where they were comfortable and stayed there, which they don't. They just randomly walk around the whole place.
Yeah.
You got to hope they get back in time. So yeah. Anyway, chat's mad with me too. Thanks, chat. Now we're mad. Now I will say this. 11 out of 10, Jeff Goldblum.
I heard he's even when I played the game, he was all over the place, and it's like, this is pretty good. This is a lot of good
Jeff Goldblum is in the game. He's constantly giving voiced over dialogue. It's freaking Jeff Goldblum. It's great. It's so great. And also, real quick, just in case somebody watched JP's stream and is thinking of playing this game, what you were probably doing, JP, is in the bottom right of my screen right now.
Yes. Yeah.
Those aren't missions. What those are is randomized contracts, and you can get those whenever you want. And what you do is you do enough contracts for a faction, and then you unlock the mission for that faction on the island. And those are the big things. Those are the things that get you the big. So a really good tip is if you're ever low on money or if you ever need to, you can go in, if you click the little number at the bottom where it says how much money you have, you can request contracts. And if you're really low on money, they'll give you really easy ones. Like, don't have a power outage for 3 minutes, or, have no one get eaten for 2 minutes. And it'll kind of kick it back, and then you can start working more. But I will say this, I completely agree with you. It does not go over that very well in the beginning, and it's very confusing.
Yeah,
I was very close to falling into what happened to you.
Because like I jumped in and was learning a game in front of people that had already seen someone learn it. So I was kind of going with chat was saying, kind of going with this, and I was just like,
it's a Sims game too. I bet that was fucking fun.
Yeah. Well, it didn't help then because I got hosted by Shroud, who was playing it as well. So here come 50,000 people, and I'm just like,
yay!
And then here's the kicker, Zeke. I said, man, why isn't this a ninja host? They didn't like that. They were not into that comment. And that
no,
really
12-year-olds don't have sense of humor, I don't think yet. They haven't developed it.
That made a really good, chat streamer interaction thing where we were just both mad. We were just both salty, and then I ended the stream. So it was kind of a bad. Plus, I was tired from E3. It was just a bad mix across the board. But yeah, that's exactly what happened, Co. I ended up just like spamming those contracts or whatever, and I just had no money. And it's like, hey, build this thing so you can do this thing, which I think was the tutorial portion, but also I was doing the contracts. It was weird. Game $60.
That whole
by the
system could use a little bit of a tutorial itself.
Yeah.
It's one of the systems that doesn't really get one.
Exactly.
So,
Exactly.
I think one window that kind of briefly talks about it, but it doesn't tell you like this is the game. Like managing your contracts and your faction. That is the entire game because that's how you get the unlocks to go to the rest of the areas outside of the stars. So, yeah, that's one of the many things that this game could use an update to in a patch.
Something that is funny that you mentioned Jeff Goldblum. So during E3, they ran Jurassic World commercials like all the time, like every fucking 15 to 30 minutes. There was that same Jurassic Park commercial, and I watched it every time on purpose because Jeff Goldblum's fucking just smugness at like being like it's released for Switch and PlayStation and Xbox One, and it's just like look, he's giving these lines
that's very
like Jeff
very
Goldblum would, and it's so deliciously smug and just like, yeah, you're gonna fucking buy it. I'm Jeff Goldblum. I'm awesome. Like I don't need this video game shit. This is just butter for me.
I wonder how much direction he gets.
This for fun. This is my entertainment.
Yeah, I wonder how much direction he gets when he goes into the booth. He's like, all right, just hit these 4 points, say the Switch, the console, and say the price, and we're good, Jeff. You can get out of here. And he's like, okay. And he just reads it the best he can, one take. And then
now I want to see if he'll do voiceovers. Hey, I see you just subbed to this streamer guy. Yeah, way to waste your money. Hey, big guy. Well, this message I just did just made me $330,000. So you have a great day now. And that'd be like the new sub message every time.
It'd be great.
I'd do it.
It'd be great.
Dude, and like the Wayne June Darkest Dungeon, like he just has like 20 different like greetings and sub greetings and bits. Like, hey, you could use that money for charity, but I guess you won't.
Yeah.
Yeah, but I guess this homeless guy in the stream could use it more than you. Okay. And that's cool. Kids with cancer don't need money when you can fund his Hot Pocket addiction.
Uh-oh.
Yeah. Just shitty and smug. Sorry about it, but that I just laughed every time. I was like, I love you, Jeff. You're so great.
I was going to say $60 game, by the way. I think that's a little high. I kind of wish it was you don't at all.
I don't think $60 is high for people that are planning on doing all the missions. I mean, you have to keep in mind, I didn't even finish the missions, and I spent 27 hours in there. And on top of that, there is a full sandbox mode where you have unlimited funds on a huge island to just go crazy as you want. So if you are planning on playing all the missions, you will get your value out of this game for $60 if you're like me and do the $2 an hour thing. However, if you're unsure of the game, absolutely wait for a sale. And if you're looking for a deep, like, city skyline, planet coaster type building experience, do some research before you pick it up because you're not quite going to get there with this game. But for dinosaur fans, especially Jurassic Park fans that also like park builders, you could easily get $60 out of this game.
Yeah, I think this game would.
What
was that?
Well, I was just saying these are the same dudes that did Elite Dangerous. I didn't know that.
Oh, really? That's
Frontier.
huh. Yeah, I think this game would do well if it had like a short island demo for people to try for free, just to check it out. I think you could tell pretty quickly just by playing it for 5 or 20 minutes if you're into it or not. So, well, that's Jurassic World Evolution. $60. What platforms is it on? Zeke, what did Mr. Goldblum tell you?
He told me that it's on PC, and PS4, and Xbox One.
Nice. Is that paint next to you? What is that little aerosol can there, Zeke?
Nothing. No, it's glass cleaner.
Oh, okay, gotcha.
Some kind of
I was cleaning off my monitors. I have to do that quite a lot, if you can imagine.
Yeah.
I have to clean off my camera and my monitors a lot because I'm a spitter when I talk.
Oh, okay, gotcha. Why don't you talk a little bit about that Darkest Dungeon DLC? Also, I heard you had a rough time with it yesterday. I don't actually know. So someone in chat was mentioning it. What happened?
And also,
there?
if you could address, I saw the Darkest Dungeon guys tweet you out, congratulating you for something. Like, what's going on with that?
Yeah, what's going on, Zeke? Talk to us about Darkest Dungeon and the event that you were doing.
Let's go, Zeke. What's going on with Darkest Dungeon?
The Darkest Dungeon guys they tweeted out a lot of people. I was just one of the first people to post up a score. Like, I was one of the first, like, I want to say 5 or 6 or whatever that posted a score. So they were like, hey, every time someone posted a score, they would do a tweet about it. And my first run into the endless mode, I got 92 kills, which put me in 3rd place at the time.
Right.
But it took me forever to get those 92 kills, and I didn't have like a super great team comp. And I went into it completely blind, not knowing what was going on. There was a lot of really, really experienced and cool Darkest Dungeon streamers that have played like literally thousands of hours. Like my paltry hold on. Let me just make sure I get this right here. My paltry 419 hours pales in comparison to many people's 2,000-3,000 hour in this game. So there were a lot of people who really knew how to really game the system. I was more of a casual player. I understand the mechanics and I know like what team comp works for me and stuff like that. But it seemed like the top places were either Leper, Jester, Vestal, or Leper, Flagellant, Jester, Vestal. So it was pretty clear what was going on, or what was the most winningest team comp.
Meta.
And yeah, well, and also like the synergies of the camping skills and stuff like that really work well, especially because a lot of times the Vestal will have like healing skills that are only for people who are religious, and the Leper and the Flagellant are both religious, so they get an extra bonus, blah, 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 blah.
Right.
But that's beside the point. The new mode is an endless mode. It's a horde mode or whatever. It goes round by round by round. So you'll have like however many waves of enemies, and then you'll have like a little break where you get a curio, and curios are basically pickups in the game. That either is a healing or stress relief, or it's a campsite. And I'm not sure. I didn't really count to see or keep track to see if they're like set or they're random. I think they might be random, but I'm not positive. I think the camps are set, but you go through these waves, and every so often, like I think you're on your 3rd or 4th wave, or 3rd or 4th. Okay. You see those hash marks in the upper right-hand corner of the video right here?
Yes.
Right there.
Yeah.
Right here. Yeah.
So you hit a hash mark, that's the end of the wave. You get to go and take a break and get a curio.
Okay.
So every hash mark is like waves of enemies, and then the crystal at the end is like sometimes it's a boss, sometimes it's just a transition to the next thing. So like every full bar you fill, I think every 2 full bars you get a boss or something like that. They put in new bosses, new enemies, and then that beyond time and space, it goes and it warps you, and you're out, and there's your curio. This is your break time. Your time out of battle. So it's not like one constant battle completely all the way through. but it interspersed with breaks and bosses. Now I only killed 92. I only got 92 kills, so I found
How long did that take, by the way?
3 bosses. The 92 kill one.
Yeah.
I want to say like 4 hours.
Jeez.
For me though.
But still, I mean, that's a
like,
lot. Like that's a
no,
lot.
if you
of
watch
time
people
invested.
like Sinvicta or C. Ooh, hold on a second. Care level 0. Like if you see people like that doing, I'm sure they're just like snapping through shit. But I torture myself like just like XCOM.
After a 12+ hour run, clocked in at 901 kills.
Good Lord. Is he the one guy that won it?
I think so. Yeah, because 13 hours ago, yes, it's over, and it looks like he won.
What the fuck? I saw, like, when I woke up yesterday, Sinvicta had like 350, and that's when I was like, hey, Zeke, if you win, I'll play Resident Evil 7 this year. Because I didn't think he had a chance at hell. But now, I didn't even see that 900 post. That was ridiculous.
It looks like that happened actually right at, like, he played up until the very end of the challenge, and he's actually going to try again today, I think, to get to 1,000 kills just because, which is pretty awesome.
It's crazy.
Yeah, he found a mechanic with a new trinket that allows the leper to like have the most accuracy, like it just stacks accuracy, so the leper never misses, kind of a thing. So that's like it was a really cool like I think it's fair to call it an exploit of an item. Like it's genius. Like he found it when like, oh shit, this is just
This is a brand new DLC, right?
Yeah, brand new. Yep.
Maybe imbalance.
Yeah, imbalance might be a proper term.
Exploit is that if it was an exploit that he used to win, that would kind of mess up the whole challenge. But you think? Well, I don't think. Well, here's a better question. You think they're going to change what he used?
They might.
Yeah,
they're pretty quick about.
It seems like a loophole, and it seems like that Jester when we came back and played the Crimson Court.
It's someone who abused the fuck out of Jester.
Yeah,
they changed stuff pretty quick.
Oh, they already did change it. Somebody said they already did.
There you go. Wow. Yeah.
Well, there you go.
No, exploit gets a bad word. Or am I using exploit wrong? Because I really think exploit seems bad, but it's not.
I think in most people's minds, exploit means that it's against the nature of the game, but you're using it correctly, I think.
You are using it correctly, but generally in game terms, an exploit is bad because it kind of assumes. Go ahead.
Yeah, make full use of and derive benefit from exploit.
Yeah.
He found an exploit of an item, and it's fucking awesome. It was really cool to see. Like he's got like 800, and he's still fucking going. Top 3 were the real CLZ, which is care level 0, with 901, Sinvicta with 337, and Filthy Robot with 311.
God, he was that far ahead.
Oh wow, close. 2 and 3.
Well, anyways,
yeah, dude, they killed it. It was really cool to see.
As Zeke would say, the top 3 exploiters of the charity challenge.
Absolutely.
Yeah. So what about the actual like DLC? Because this is $5. Is it worth it? Is it good? Is it worth it?
It's $5. It's absolutely worth it for $5. It's. I mean, obviously, it's cool like endless content, which means but it is the repetitive thing. You do the same things over and over again. What I really want to see is how they move forward with it, because there are these items that you can gain in the game that take crystals. And if you see on my screen, like over my right shoulder, you can see like 20, and there's like a crystal, like looking thing. Those are the things you gain in this mode, and you bring them back, and they're just like another form of currency. And they have a whole like shitload like of trinkets that you can just buy with these crystals. However, it seems like it's just for people who are completionists, like who want to get every single thing. They don't seem to be working towards something. Like there's no like I mean there might be something at the end of the endless mode. Fuck, I don't know.
Yeah.
But what I would love to see is like a really difficult new dungeon that they're going to implement later that would actually challenge people who get these cool new trinkets and whatnot. because they're really powerful trinkets that you can get from the new trinket dealer or whatever.
Right. Do you think this is the end of Darkest Dungeon? Do you think Red Hook's going on to work on something else, or already working on something else, or do you think they're going to continue making new stuff for this? In your opinion, maybe you know stuff, so that's an unfair question. But
No, I don't know stuff.
okay, like where do you think they go from here? Do you think there's anything they can add to this game? Like I think Endless is probably something a lot of people have been asking for. Where do you go from here? Just another DLC expansion? Like,
well, dude, I mean, every expansion and every DLC like brings old schoolers like me back to play the game again from the beginning.
yeah,
Like that Crimson Court brought me back, and I played it for another fucking 80 hours or whatever the hell. I mean, honestly, I see it dragging out like Isaac did, like Binding of Isaac. Like Binding of Isaac dragged out like new shit for how many years?
yeah.
Yeah.
I feel
Totally
how
see it.
long this game came out. This game started early access. I was living in Dallas when this came out, so that had to have been 4 years ago, 3 years ago when it actually like came out on Steam in early access. It was during the Super Bowl. I remember very clearly because I was playing this while watching the Super Bowl and thinking, "Man, this game's pretty good." And I have that memory with me forever. I just don't know when that was.
It said released on Steam January 2016, but that's when it released.
That's full release. Yeah,
It's been early access way before that.
I think a bunch of people in chat are saying 2015. So that's old. It's pretty crazy the game's still doing that well after that long. Kind of shows to how good of a game that is. But
I didn't even look at this, but so very, very weird that it says recent reviews on Steam, mostly negative.
a lot of people are saying. So Dan actually tweeted a review of it today. Yeah. Dan tweeted a review of it today, and the guy was complaining that it's too difficult, which kind of blew my mind. I wonder if that's like the general consensus is that it's too hard. Yeah, that cattail's going crazy. Go. Yeah, I don't know. I'll have to look at them, but
Wow, dude. Like, what happened?
I don't know.
Oh, there was a thing. There was a thing about the Korean
wait a second.
translation.
Yeah, this guy says, I really like the game and any complaints I might have about some RNG ruining my runs, but hey, I knew that could happen. So let's just get to the point of this review. Now, after learning what they've done to the Koreans, I'm going to have to give it a negative review. What? What did they do to Korea?
Yeah, what?
Is
Okay,
that,
this
did
is
they get
this is
down
all I've
wrong?
heard. This is all I've heard is that the translation into the Korean language was not only bad, but it was offensive to some.
Huh.
This is just what I've heard, though. I mean, this is just hearsay, rumor, and stuff. So don't take my word for it. I just heard it from somebody else.
That's unfortunate.
But I can tell you this, like, and I can tell you this from experience. I've known the Red Hook guys for quite some time, and they have been nothing but nice and generous to the community, and they listen to people when they talk and stuff like that. And I mean, maybe I'm getting the good side because I'm a streamer or whatever, but
sure.
I can't say enough good things about them. They're a great company as far as I know.
Huh.
Oh, wow. Okay. Yeah. Okay. So I found like a long, well-written post by somebody who has 115 hours and has posted not recommended. I enjoyed this game greatly, but I cannot in good conscience give Darkest Dungeon a positive review. Red Hook Studios' abysmal conduct regarding the Korean localization cannot be excused. I honestly have no idea what could have possibly gone wrong or gone through their minds when they orchestrated this train wreck. And then he breaks it down into 4 large paragraphs. Yeah. Just a small section of one of them. It turns out the translation had been outsourced 4 times to companies of questionable merit. Ruin has come to our family was translated to our family has become an archaeological ruin. Warren's was translated to rabbit farm. Hard noggin to resilient beer glass. Just to be clear, these 3 examples aren't quirky exceptions. The entire translation is like this. I have never seen such incompetence since Pokemon Vietnamese Crystal, whatever that means.
Me too, man.
Wow.
Wow.
But I don't understand like why people would be like.
Now I kind of want to play it. Like I want to take the Korean version. I want to translate it to English,
Yeah.
exactly word for word, and I want to play that game.
Yeah, with the guy
But here's
reading
the
it as
thing.
is.
But here, I've played tons of indie games with really fucking bad English translation. It's hilarious, but like, why would it? I don't understand why it would be offensive.
Yeah, I don't either. Maybe they're
or why people would be so upset about it.
Yeah, I'm not sure. We need Jeff
Like, I've
Goldblum
had
to
some
read all that stuff though.
Yeah, I mean,
fucking
honestly,
bad
it's looking like
English.
Red Hook Studios just fired and forgetted the translation. They hired the company to do the translation. They paid them a lot of money and sent them on their way. They were delivered a product that, of course, they couldn't check because they had to get it translated by a professional company. So it's not like they speak Korean. And then apparently they just released that, and it was total trash. So
Okay.
Red Hook has an apology. They're like, we're sorry about that. We paid money for this, and what we got was crap, and we can't really confirm it. So it just sounds like a giant cluster.
What sounds more reasonable that would make people mad is that if they can't read it, they can't play the fucking game. So that would make me mad. If I couldn't understand like the items and what was going on, and the translation was so bad that I couldn't like figure out what the fuck was going on in the game that I paid for, that would piss me off. So that makes more sense for sure.
Okay.
For sure.
Yeah, I could see that being an issue. Yeah, the quality control
And I
for
think
sure.
one of the biggest issues also it's looking like is apparently they took a year to do the Korean translation. So a lot of people were waiting for it. And now it's not like they can just do it again. I mean, it took them a year.
Yeah, that's a long time.
Yeah. Yeah. So unfortunately, I can see why some people are pretty angry. I hope that Red Hook is just offering refunds though, in which case it's like, sorry, here's your refund. As you know, as long as they're doing that, I mean,
yeah,
I don't know. Anyway, shitty situation all around. Just a shitty situation.
I agree.
I love how many people in chat just like, just learn English.
Right. I saw those comments and I was like,
Nice guys, real nice.
Let's just move on.
You're part of the problem.
Yeah. God, can't these guys just learn English? Fucking morons.
Yeah,
what are they doing? Jesus.
Speak American.
Fucking Christ.
Maybe one day they'll upgrade themselves.
Jesus Christ. What else? We got about 30 minutes till break. I could talk a little bit about I did all my Path of Exile goals. I am quote done with Path of Exile. It has been done. We've done
For
it.
the season?
I don't have any other goals in that game at all.
Did you kill the thingy, the last guy?
Yeah. I'll play future seasons just to play, but I've done everything. I killed Uber at Zeri, and then I killed Uber Elder after that. And it was actually quite the build. So I'm playing a build called Arc Traps. It's actually like kind of broken. It's very broken actually. It's very, very strong. But yeah, I killed or Uber Shaper, Uber Elder, whatever you want to call him. He's dead. This is me waiting to go. I was actually pretty nervous going to fight him. I got like the shakes and I got cold as I
Look
do when
at
I get
you.
nervous.
Yeah, you're fucking shook, dude.
Yeah, here it is. This fight's fucking insane, though. I feel like if I went in, I did this kind of hard mode too because I didn't have.
Is this the actual Uber Shaper fight?
Yeah, this is the fight. This is me killing him.
I'm gonna minimize real quick. Let me know when it's done.
Okay, all right. I mean, you've seen a little bit of it before. It's nothing too crazy.
I've never even seen the normal one, man.
Okay, gotcha. Yeah, I don't know if you'll ever like. You're gonna have to put in. I put in like 800 hours to actually get to this to see it. So it definitely takes some time.
800 hours just to see this one boss?
Well, that's not true.
Well, yeah.
This character, I think, when I got here on this specific character, let's say this league, I probably put in 100 hours to get to this. On about 65 hours on this character and about 30 on the other character for the league starter. Granted, I didn't start this league with the intention of actually doing this. It just so happened that the build was strong enough that I could do something like this. But it felt real fucking good to kill him. I'll say that much because I didn't think I would kill him for a very, very long time just because of how difficult this was.
So those demon wings and all that shit you bought, right?
Oh, yeah. Yeah, that's about $250 so worth. Yeah. Here's where I think I die right here.
I'm so fucking happy about the way this game is going and how they're making money and stuff like that. It's so cool to see a free game like do so well. Like even with Fortnite too. Like I hope this becomes a model for ages to come.
Oh yeah, yeah. I think the way that both companies and Warframe even as well maybe to a lesser extent in terms of being purely cosmetic stuff. They're doing really cool things, I think, with the free-to-play model. So much so that they're getting away from like pay-to-win outright and moving into just like, oh yeah, you can make your wings look cool, and that's about it.
Have you heard any news about
get big enough to where China buys you and you're set?
Exactly. I mean,
No, well,
that's
that's
the goal.
what I was talking about. That's what I wanted to talk about. Like, has there been any 10-cent anything yet?
No, not really. They're usually pretty
I
hands
think-
off. Like you don't really see anything. At least in maybe chat will correct me, I'm sure. But in my eyes, whenever Tencent like owns a portion of the company, they're usually just doing that so they can have stuff like they can fuck with the Chinese version of the game, right? Like you don't really get that. They're not looking to fuck with the stuff outside of China when they buy a lot of these companies. And if they do, the community is going to be very, very vocal about them fucking with it.
Okay.
So they haven't really touched anything so far in Path of Exile, and I don't think they will for quite some time. But yeah, this league, I think me and Co kind of did we talk about it? How this week? 3 weeks? How long has this league been out? 3 weeks? The week before E3 is when it launched.
June 5th is when it came out.
Yeah, so about 3 weeks, something like that. By far,
It's almost
yeah,
just over 2.
okay. It's by far their best.
Wait, no, that's not right. That time's not right. June 1st is when it came out. So yeah, it's been about 3 weeks. Yeah,
Okay.
yeah.
Yeah, by far this is the best expansion, and honestly, like the best thing they've ever put out, in my opinion. With the
Really?
the temples, yeah, it's basically like the league. There's so many people playing it, but it's also that there was so much loot that drops that like everything price wise was mega inflated this league, just because of how expensive or how much currency was actually dropping. And I preferred it that way. Like it played so much more fun just because everyone had currency. That's also to say I got incredibly stupidly lucky this league with drops. I had like 7 exalts drop for me in the course of like 70 or 80 hours, which is very fucking rare. I had a lot of items that dropped for a lot of money. I got very rich very quick, which was nice.
Now, what are exalts? Are they
Exalts-
just like epic?
Exalts are like, chaos orbs. It's like the next tier of chaos.
Oh, like currency.
Yeah.
It's the most expensive currency, like normal currency item.
Yep. Also, I got the worst fucking drops from this boss, which is hilarious because it took about 300 chaos just to see him. So it takes a long time to actually get to him. But I was happy.
No, it doesn't. I mean, does he have like a specific, at least one specific cool drop that he drops every time?
Oh, well, no. It's all like he can drop items that sell for like unreal amounts of currency, but it has to drop, right? Like he drops a jewel that normally when you kill Elder has 2, like I guess 2 stats to it, basically to kind of dumb it down a little bit. And then
Look at him. Oh, hold on. I just got to point out. I look at you, lean back, and just like.
Oh yeah, I'm enjoying the story. Because this is part of the main story. Yeah.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, I was listening to see what the person was saying.
Everything in that text box right there is voice acted at
Yep.
the top of the screen right now.
Yep. What was I saying?
Is everything in the game voice acted?
Most of it.
Most of it, yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, it's pretty good.
Anyway,
Oh yeah, sorry.
You're
This guy drops the same item, but then it has 3 stats on it. So it has an extra stat, which is if you get like a good drop on that stuff, that's because it's pretty random. It can sell for like 40 to 50 exalts, which is crazy amounts of money. Like you're set for the league if that shit drops. But to get to this guy takes a shit ton of currency, just so most people don't farm it. Most people just farm the normal version of him.
now is this a guy that is available every league, or is he just new to this one,
He
or how does that work?
started last league, last season. So he's been out for this is the 2nd season he's been in. Yeah.
Okay, so they implement like new bosses every once in a while that stay in the game throughout the leagues as the leagues go on. The leagues just change like mechanics and rules and shit, right?
Yeah. Sorry, this is the 3rd. Yes, it does. Yeah. They introduce new stuff, and if people really like it or if it like has a place in the game, they'll keep it. Like this league, the temple stuff, they will probably keep the temple in the game as you progress forward. It'll just be a lot less of the temple. Like it'll be considered a rare thing to occur in a map that you get access to the different temple stuff.
Okay.
So yeah, they nailed it. Like, the fucking fantastic job with this league. I'm curious to see where they go next. And I also want to see the next boss fight, because like story wise, this is the final thing you can do. And they kind of hint to what the next thing could be in that little dialogue option, which will be kind of cool. But we'll have to see what that actually is. So.
Oh, would you agree with Cyclone saying the leagues are basically tests for mechanics that could possibly make it to the core game? Would that be fair?
Yes and no. Like, this is the quote core game, but yeah, like, I guess that could.
Well, actually, that's a really good way to say it.
Yeah.
Because if you think about it, like the Bestiary League turned out to be very negative. People didn't like it, and they pretty much ripped that out of the game.
That's true.
So yeah, I would say that's probably a good way to say it.
That's a good point. Yeah. The thing that sucks about this after killing it, I was expecting this to take like literally all day, and I killed it on like the first attempt on like the second or third life in quotes. So then I didn't have anything to do. So then I downloaded Warframe. So I went from one.
Oh, I was wondering
to another. Yeah, that's why I started playing Warframe, is because I finished this in a sense.
I think we start Warframe after the break.
Yeah.
I'm sure
No, we're not
that's
going to talk about it.
Longer talk.
It'll definitely be
Okay.
a longer conversation. Yeah.
Okay.
That's-
I mean, honestly, you guys got me bonered up about it, and I want to talk about it.
Yeah, I think I'll say, and we'll talk about it. Like I said, I think you would like Warframe. I think it's a good game for you.
And it's funny because I completely missed it, and every time I bring up like Destiny or whatever, they're like, try fucking Warframe, you dick. And I'm like, oh, God, I don't have anybody to play with. It's like, just do it. And is it okay? Let's
Let's
talk
just
about
save
it
the
later.
conversation. Yeah, just save the conversation.
Yeah.
You've
you wanna
been
do-
playing.
I'm
with
gonna refresh
Vampire?
myself on what it is exactly. I'm gonna play it a little during the break and make sure I.
Okay, understood. What was that, Zeke?
You want to talk Vampire for a little bit?
Yeah, did you finish it? I think both of you guys finished it, right?
No,
Yeah.
I haven't finished it. I was gone for 9 days.
Oh, okay. Yeah. What are you guys? I guess you finished it. Are you still feeling it? You still into it after completing it?
Vampire?
Yeah.
Yeah, I did. If people, I'll give a brief one real quick because I don't want to go too much into it. If Zeke hasn't finished it yet, I've got a thoughts video up on my YouTube and everything. If anyone wants more, but the short answer is, I liked Vampire. It is a worthy addition to the vampire RPG genre, which is unfortunately way smaller than it should be, including basically the other hit, Vampire the Masquerade Bloodlines, and very few others. I enjoyed the ending. It culminated very well, and there were definitely some twists and turns. And I also watched most of the endings. I watched like the big endings, the different ones. So there's some pretty, like I was pleasantly surprised by that stuff. And again, without being too much spoilery, yeah, it was a lot of fun, and I liked the way I played it. And yeah, it was good. It's good.
I tuned in to watch you. When was that? That might have been during E3. I tuned into your stream real early because I couldn't sleep. It was like 8 or 9 a.m. my time. And you were fighting, I don't want to say who, but you were fighting a guy that was giving you a lot of struggle.
Yeah.
That was probably the most mad I've ever seen you on your own cast.
Yeah.
So it does get difficult then.
Well, there are many different ways to play it. I opted in doing the method that gives you the least amount of experience.
That's what I was going to ask you about. Because I stopped even resting because I was just breezing through shit. And like, I think the last time I rested, I had like 10,000 experience points. Yeah, because I didn't need
That's
to
like
rest.
more than I've spent all game.
No,
Yeah,
I
no, but the
really
thing
want
is-
to. I kind of want to go back and do it that way because when you start like sucking people left and right, it gets super easy.
Yeah.
Well, here's the thing. I opted to do I wanted to do it a certain way. I actually made it through the entire game without using guns or any stims of any kind, and it was tough. Like there were two bosses in particular that were like 10 plus tries tough, and that one JP was on was probably 20 plus. I mean, there are some really tough enemies if you go a no kill route, and I did side stuff too. So like it was yeah, there was a few parts that will give average gamers a real run for their money if you try to do a no kill on it.
I definitely think I'm going to do that because, goddamn, like there was a couple of challenging parts, but nothing like super difficult. Like the the fight in the graveyard around there's a statue in the middle. You fight around and you know that one? Okay. Without going into too much detail, that one was like kind of challenging, but if I would have gone back and used my experience points, I probably just would have bowled over it. And also if I would have used my experience points less spread out, because I bought like one of everything to start with, like one like level and everything just to see all the cool shit that you can do. If I would have like just put all of my points into say Blood Spear, that Blood Spear would have been kicking everybody's ass in. Also, I saved up and bought that shotgun from the very beginning, and I've upgraded that motherfucker. And that shit, like anybody who's weak to gunfire, it's like a third of their life every shot. Just boosh. That thing is super powerful.
Yeah, there is some good news though, especially later in the game. Well, slightly spoilerish, but as you move through the game, the enemies do not only get harder, but they develop some pretty significant resistances that make you kind of mix things up a little bit. So,
oh, cool. Okay,
that's good.
No, I'm excited to see what comes. I promised my chat, like when I started, like I'm gonna try. Like the rule that I laid out for myself was I will suck everybody that I can, as long as they're not diseased. And I realize how this sounds. As long as they're not diseased, and I have all of their hints. So
that's just good life rules right there.
Well, sure, yeah.
Yeah.
I cure their diseases, and I have all of their like spyglass hints like checked off. Then I will suck them as long as like my mesmerize is high enough. But so there is a little bit of a caveat, but it's still like immediate results being I was kicking everything's ass for a while, and just logging away XP until it got like super difficult, and then I just would spend the XP, and just it wouldn't be difficult anymore.
Co, how long did it take you to beat the game? What was your final hours clocked?
Final hours were, I can tell you right now, 28 hours.
Okay.
28 hours. I keep in mind though, I did play like a very full run. So I did towards the end I started rushing it a little bit, and that actually unfortunately got me a negative hit that I wasn't intending on doing because I wasn't as thorough as I should have been. And they could have been probably like a 35-hour playthrough if I'd really gone that far. But I made it through about 80% of the game, treating it like a 100% run. And you can beat the game in like 15 hours if you just push the main story, especially if you're feeding on people, then you really don't need to do that side stuff. I will say this though. I don't know how, like, it was pretty difficult for me, and I did a lot of side questing to get my experience up. I don't know how the game would be if you didn't kill people and also focused the main story. I've heard some people got to points in the game doing that. Some people mentioned it during the chat, where they would just be like, "Yeah, this boss is unbeatable. Like, I don't know what to do against it." Like, then you ask them, and it's like, "Have you done all the side stuff?" And they're like, "No, I'm focusing the main story and not killing people." It's kind of like that is the definition of hard mode in this game. Don't kill anybody, only do the main story, and that's as hard as this game will be. And it can be pretty rough.
I'd imagine it's a lot like people like, you only got 10% completion in Yakuza? You missed all the side shit. Like, that's the point of the game, dude.
Yeah.
But I'm 24 hours in, and I don't think I'm even close to the end. Like, I've done everything, exhausted every single dialogue option, and I take a long time on top of that. So I bet I probably have at least 10 to 15 more hours left of the game.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I've seen a lot of people say it's a longer game than they had thought, I think is what a lot of people are saying.
It was for me, for sure.
Yeah.
Yep.
Well, cool.
Still good though.
It's
good.
Is it vampire? Where do you?
It's an old, and we actually I checked with the devs on this. So here's the official thing. It can be pronounced as vampire because it is an older root of the actual word vampire, but you can also pronounce it vampire because that's how it was actually pronounced back then. So it's the at one point we were talking about it in chat, and I think either the devs tweeted me or said in chat, it's either. Like, it's totally fine to say it either way. Because
but then you gotta say that. You gotta say that V like a soft W sound too to sound even more douchey, like Wempire.
Jesus.
You
All right. Well,
cultured mother.
yeah. There you go. Now you know more than you wanted to about how to pronounce the game name. Well, what time is it? We got about 15 minutes till break. Just some quick Twitch news. You can now use two different video extensions, which is nice. Also, something they didn't, at least they might have said this in the blog. I didn't read the full blog, but someone tweeted at me actually earlier. You can now, as a viewer, disable or hide the video extensions on your end, which is, I think, fucking fantastic. That should have been there from the start.
Yep.
Absolutely. More options, always better.
Yeah. I know a lot of people have been using the Twitch Prime extension in terms of video extension. Have you guys used any of the other stuff or any other video extensions out there?
There weren't really many that weren't game specific, and the few that I used, like I used the PoE one for a while, but it never updated properly.
Yeah, it updates a little slow.
It just they're so wonky, and apparently from listening to those devs, there were lots of issues on the back end that were apparently fixed when they rolled out this big update with more extensions and more stuff like that. So I think we may see them a lot more. Hopefully, I can tell you right now that we're coming up with some very interesting ways that overlays and extensions could be used because they also opened up some of the back end with this stuff.
Yep.
So there are some. I mean, it's the kind of thing where if done properly, it could really change the way a lot of things are done. Like for instance, what if sub notifications were something you could turn off on your side?
Yep. That'd be really cool.
Like that's kind of huge. Yeah. What if all that stuff could be turned off? You know. So like these are now. Of course, I don't think it's to the point where you can do that yet. I don't even know if it's to the point where you could hook it in like that properly. But I mean, we may get to the point. We may get to the day with this kind of stuff where it's like, oh, I don't like this guy's overlay. Right click, disable.
Yep. That'd be sick.
Yep.
Think if you could inject a camera. Oh, I don't want to see this guy on the stream. I'd rather just focus on the game. Right click, turn off camera.
Yeah, and anything to give options to viewers like that is so smart, so cool. But I don't know if we'll go down that path. We'll see.
Dude, I would honestly love that because I do love, like, I like my notifications and I like having them and making it, kind of a thing of it. But if we could put that into an extension where they wouldn't get any of this, they'd still get they could turn off the visuals and the sound and all that kind of shit. They still have to hear me blab about thanking somebody, but they wouldn't have to hear the visuals or the sound if they didn't want to. Wow, how great would that be? That'd be fucking awesome.
And you could just split it. So imagine that just the sounds were the overlay. And here's the thing: I don't even know if you could do sounds to the overlay yet.
Yeah, that'd be kind of weird.
If they did do that, you could make it so all of the sounds that your notifications make were on the overlay. So then people could just turn off all those sounds and just not have any of that. Like I don't even use sounds anymore. And people seem to really enjoy it. So having that as be like a normal option everyone could do. That kind of stuff will be huge when they get that worked out.
I agree. Hopefully that's sooner than later because is this like, I think there's like some of the first updates in terms of extensions that we've had for several months since they introduced the program. Actually, did they introduce, that was at TwitchCon when they introduced the extensions, wasn't it? Because they did that like game extension where it had the blue versus red chat people fighting. I think is what when that was. Okay. So it's been about 9 months, I think, ish, since extensions were introduced. So,
and also like especially for you, JP, I want you to get that extension where they can click on the screen and like it takes them to like a Twitter or their Twitch page. Like,
yes, for shows. Yeah. Oh, I would love that. I've been requesting that one to be able to like, hey, if you want to support this person, you can click them and cheer to them. Because the amount of cheers that I've gotten for people on the show or from people that I've even hosted because someone's in my chat and then they accidentally cheer me instead of the person that I'm hosting. Like that stuff has to be fixed. I had someone cheer like $100 to me and it was supposed to go to Dodger and I like had to message him like, hey, this went to me. I'm going to PayPal it to Brooke because I don't like that's fucked up. They're like, oh, don't worry about it. I'm like, no, this needs to be fixed. That's a lot of money that needs to go to the right person that you want it to be. But yeah, I would love that. I would love for that to occur.
Cheering anybody from
PayPal. Oh, Dodger, this guy sent you $25. Here you go. Yeah. Oh,
yeah.
I think I caught it.
I caught it. Woo. Yeah. It's a shame they didn't give more. I mean, it's only $25, but
No, cheering anybody from anywhere would be great. And I'm not talking just about streamers. I'm talking about like doing /cheer 500 at screen name.
Yep.
So you can transfer bits to somebody else. Like, here you go. Now you can cheer.
Yep. That'd be great.
That'd be huge. That would be huge.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I would love any.
Well,
is any,
that's a whole different can of worms, though.
It is for sure. But is someone that, primarily on the channel, well, half and half, I guess, on the channel is doing a lot of shows like Drop Frames and Roleplay where we just have, I don't know, 20 different people on this channel if all shows are running in a week. Would love to be able to give something to, like, if you can click on their name in the title, if you put @ in front of it and it links to their channel or their Twitter, or overlays where you could click on the overlay and it links to their channel or whatever. Like, would love that shit. Because right now all we really can do is rely on chat. And unfortunately, when you run a command in chat and list kind of the bio of said person, it's 6 or 7 lines of text and it just spams the chat and no one wants to read that to begin with. So
how cool would it be if Twitch could utilize other sites' cookies, and under our browser, there would be a button that says subscribe on YouTube, and then another button that says follow on Twitter. And it just like reads your logged in cookie and does it without even leaving the web page. I don't even know if that's possible. It's probably not, but
yeah, I don't know if those sites have, like, I'm trying to think if either of those sites have the API to do such a
not
thing.
possible. Oh, bummer. Okay, there you go.
Okay. People are saying no. Everyone's really against that. I'm not sure.
I love how all these people in chat are so concerned about privacy, like you have anything anyone cares about. My lord. People get so crazy about privacy stuff, and it's like, who cares? Like, really? Really? Is it that big of a deal to have a button down there that reads it? Like, come on, man.
Did we just switch brains?
I'm not saying we do. We don't either. None of us do.
That was really crass and cruel of you, and that's something that I would have said.
Oh,
I'm proud of you, Co. I'm proud of you.
Oh, God. I'm becoming Co. Co's becoming Zeke, and Zeke's just always Zeke. So,
What we need is the government to have cameras in our house, and that way they can watch us and keep us in line, guys. This is just
if you don't have anything to hide, what the fuck are you worried about?
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah, right? What are you, doing something illegal? God. Bunch of jerks out.
Oh, boy. No, boy.
Ooh, man.
I mean, I don't know about you, but I want Big Brother watching me spank it.
Right?
Yeah. And then I want to watch the video after,
Just turn off the camera. Let's be like, okay, we've seen enough of this guy. Let's not do that.
Jesus Christ. I think, there's nothing we could really add to that. So I think we're just going to take our break early. I think we're just going to go to... Is there any like small bite-sized games that you guys have played? E3 kind of dominated the past week, so I don't know if there's any small... Zeke, did you play any travel games? What'd you play on the plane? Oh, God.
Isaac.
Okay, well, that's not too bad.
I just keep playing Isaac. I'm trying to get towards that platinum god, and it's tough, man. It's a fucking rough game, and especially like with all of the fucking DLC in the game and all of the added content, that like it's fucking tough to 100% it, man. Yeah, Isaac on Switch. Yeah,
I'm playing on the Switch. Man,
I play like an hour or two every night while I'm watching like news programs, like before I go to bed, after dinner and stuff.
The pre-DLC, but that's probably more than a few minutes.
Prey DLC. Yeah. Okay.
Yeah, I said I'd ask you about that after the break.
Okay, cool. Yeah, we'll mention that. I played a game called Drop Mix, which has nothing to do with a video game, but it's a board game, which is pretty fucking cool. It's made by the people that made Rock Band, actually. It's this board that's about probably this big. You put an iPad to the end of it, and it connects via Bluetooth. And they have little cards that have like, I don't know. They've got like cake, short skirt, long jacket on there. And it's like the rhythm part of that song. It's got like Call Me Maybe, and it's got like the vocals of that. And basically you just put all these cards down on this board, and it starts like mixing the music in real time. And you can adjust the BPM and everything. It's really fucking cool. The cards have RFID chips in them. So that's how it reads it.
Is it a game though? Is there a winner? Or?
Yes. Well, there is a battle mode. There's a freestyle mode where you can just create your own mix and just add in whatever you want. But then there's also a battle mode to it. where it's the first to 21 points, and there's a parameter like a rule set. I'm not going to explain it on how to actually accrue those points, but it's pretty good. I was kind of cleverly surprised. I think Xavier Woods talked about it on a stream last week during E3. I was like, what the fuck is this drop mix thing? Apparently it's been out for like a year, but I got it, and me and Aaron and Aaron's kid were playing it. It was fun. I was super into it.
It looks pretty fucking cool.
Yeah, it's a great like party game. You can do 2-on-2. You can do 1v1. Then, like I said, the freestyle mode. So.
Oh, since we only have 4 minutes, just real quick, one last E3 story.
Sure.
So we are you guys familiar with Trover Saves the Universe? I think
Is that
That's the Morty.
Yeah.
yeah, that's the Justin Roiland game.
Yep.
So I interviewed him, Justin Roiland. He came on to the E3, and it was like the second to last interview of E3.
Oh, God.
And it was so fun to just sit there and bullshit with him, because this dude is like, he's making money hand over fist and shit. So he doesn't like really have to oversell anything that he does anymore.
Sure.
So it was fun because he just hung out, and he has the exact sense of humor that is in like the improv like TV, like Universal Television episodes of Rick and Morty, where it's just like it seems like it's all improv and stuff. And we talked about like him putting in like improvisational lines and stuttering and stuff like that, and how he's like, yeah, sometimes I feel kind of bad for the animators, because they have to animate me like doing like a giggle like that wasn't supposed to be there, or like I stutter all the time like when I'm doing the voices and shit. And he's like, the animators have to animate that mouth doing like, Morty for 100 years, Morty, and like all that shit. He has to, and he was just like laying back, and we would talk about the game, when he felt like it and shit. And but dude was fucking hilarious, and just like, the confidence of a man who has already made his nut.
Yeah, he seems like in all the interviews that I've seen him or all the podcasts he's been on, he seems super laid back. Like he knows what he does, and he's fine with that. And most people know what he does, and they're fine with that. And that's he's just there. He's just there to hang out. So it seems like he's a pretty chill guy in that regard. Is that on the Twitch channel if people want to watch that, by the way?
I believe it's on /Twitch. I think you could find like it, and if you go to E3 day 5, it's towards like the very end of the stream. Okay. Oh, and also I would love to give a fucking shout out to the crew of the E3, like the behind the scenes crew. And I'm not sure whose idea it was. I'm not sure if it was DJ Wheat or the crew or whatever. But that Skate 4 troll at the end of the broadcast was I was in the control booth thanking everyone. It's like, thank you guys. You guys did a really great job, really smooth, hard work. They're like, hey, stick around. I was like, what? This thing is ending. He's like, no, it's going to be great. You're going to want to see it. So it was like, coming up, Skate 4. And I was like, what the fuck are you guys doing? And then he's like, all right, fade up the kappa, fade up the kappa. I was like, what? And he goes, and the kappa face came up, and I was like, oh shit. And then they played Despacito, which was a huge meme during E3.
Yeah, why was that a meme? What?
No, just Despacito 2 like was a thing that someone came up with, and people just kept repeating it.
Okay.
And they played Despacito, and everybody in the chat was just going fucking bonkers. And it was like a very very in touch troll, because Skate 4 was a huge thing. Everybody wanted it. And Despacito 2 in the chat was a huge like meme.
Yeah.
And I was there to see it like go down live. Like, all right, fade up the music. A little bit louder. There you go. Okay, now let it play. It was cool to see it.
There was a clip posted if you guys want to watch that in the chat, if you're watching here live on Twitch. But yeah, that was. I'm glad E3's over. It was. I didn't realize how much content there was going to be during E3. There was a lot. I think we did like 20 hours worth of drop frames altogether last week.
Oh, probably more than that, man.
Yeah, there was a lot. It's all up on YouTube if you want to go watch that stuff. Funny enough, only like 3 videos got claimed. There was not that much claiming, and Nintendo didn't even claim their video. They're usually the biggest culprits. It was was mostly EA, I think, that claimed this year. So it wasn't too bad. It wasn't too bad.
Oh, and shout out to my boy DJ Tech Live in the chat there. He was there. Frank was helping us with the hosting.
Nice.
Good job, Frank.
Nice. Yeah, it was who all was on hosting? You, Anna, Wheat.
Me, Anna, Wheat, Hello Kelly Link, Rachel Quirko, Seltzer please, and
Okay.
Frank DJ Tech Live, and Okadrian, and I don't know how to say the name.
Uh-oh.
It's Akira.
Kara Corella?
I just call it Kira the whole time.
Kara
I
Corella?
can't remember her last name.
Is it?
Yep.
Okay. There
Kira Corella. There it is.
Gotcha. All right. Yeah, I was just making sure we named that correctly according to the
Yeah,
chat.
and everybody did a great job.
Awesome.
And it was cool to see. Oh, just one real quick, one sentence.
All right.
So none of us on the hosting team like are into like sports games.
Sure.
So that's like it's not a hazing thing, but it's definitely like, all right, newbie, you're on Madden. you're on Madden. You're on FIFA. We're not gonna do it because I've been here for 4 years doing this shit. It's you guys. Go ahead, have fun. Because
Nice.
I've done it. I've gone through my shit. I've done the sports games that I don't know or care about. Now it's your turn.
They still do like people still come and want to talk about Madden.
Oh yeah, of course. Madden gets a new game every year. FIFA gets a new game every year.
But I didn't think they still did like interviews for that stuff. That's crazy to me. I guess that makes sense, but that kind of blows my mind for whatever reason. All right, let's take a break. We'll come back, talk about Warframe, because I think everyone in chat's wanted to talk about it. I think me and Co really want to talk about it. I think Zeke wants to hear about it. And then we'll see where else we go from there. Oh, then we got to talk. Yeah, thanks for that. Thanks for the phone. We got to talk. What was that game that you were going to ask Co about, Zeke? I'm blanking.
Prey DLC.
Okay, Prey DLC. Yeah, so we'll do those two. And maybe a little bit more when we come back. So don't go anywhere. More drop frames coming up right after this. We'll see you guys in about 5-ish minutes with more. We're out. Bye-bye. For now.